Greetings Magic fans, and welcome to this unboxing video for the Aether Revolt pre-release pack. We're looking at some of the cards we get in the packs and promo cards, as well as what we get in one of the new Planeswalker decks. So without further ado, let's get this opened and start seeing what we get. Once again, this one is shaped like an Aether cell. Got a nice artwork there of Chandra leading the revolt. Once again, you have to press down on this to open it. And let's see what the promo card is. Free Jam Regent. The Cat Dragon. Creature dragon, 4/4, costs 4 other and 2 red mana. And has Improvise. Your artifacts can help cast this spell. Each artifact you tap after you're done activating mana abilities pays for 1. So you can basically tap 4 artifacts and get this for just 2 red mana. And it has 1 red and 1 other. Free Gem Region gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So it's a nice pump dragon, so you can pump up to huge sizes, since the 6 mana you would need to cast it could pump it to a 10/4. And that's the new Improvise mechanic there. So let's see what else we get. Instead of a swap to this time, we get a nice sticker that you can stick on your deck boxes and things. And there's the symbol for the set. And let's see what we get in these packs. Nice image of Tezzeret there. There's a lot of new mechanics in this set, as well as Improvise, the Revolt mechanic that revolves around when something leaves the battlefield during your turn, you can then get an extra effect from playing a card with Revolt. Here's another one with Improvise, a Sweatworks Brawler, 3/3 with Menace. As Improvise, so you could get it for just 1 red mana if you tap enough artifacts. We'll mainly be focusing on the uncommons and common and rares in this one. That classic Shock is back. 1 red mana for deals 2 damage to target creature or player. There's a new energy card, Reservoir Walker, cost of 5 for artifact creature construct, 3/3. When it enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life and gain 3 energy. So that's going to be big in energy deck, so that is a bit pricey. Here we go, Renegade Rallier. Has the Revolt mechanic I mentioned. It's a 3/2 for 1 white, 1 green and 1 other. And has Revolt. When Renegade Rallier enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, return target permanent card with converted mana cost 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. So you can return any permanent, so an artifact, creature, enchantment, with a cost of 2 or less, to the battlefield if something left the battlefield this turn. So if you just lost a 1/1 creature that you'd blocked with, and it goes into the graveyard, then you could play this card and get it straight back out again. So it's quite a handy mechanic. Lifecrafter's Gift, instant, cost of 3 and 1 green. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature, then put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control with a +1/+1 counter on it. Now that is pretty big for any Abzan flavoured decks, since it lets you put a +1/+ counter on anything that's already got one. And with Fabricate as well, that's an amazing way to just give everything you have a +1/+1 counter. Windkin Raiders, 2 blue and 4 other, has Improvise, so it can get it for just 2 blue. It's a 4/3 fly, not too bad. And the rare, Shram, Senior Edificer, for 1 white and 1 other. Legendary creature Dwarf Advisor, 2/2. Whenever you cast an aura, equipment, or vehicle spell, draw a card. So that's a lot of nice card draw there, since there's going to be a lot of equipment and vehicles in most decks in the Kaladesh series. And the new Energy Reserve tokens. So they kind of missed this out in the last series when they should have had something like this in, but now they've corrected it by including these. So you can just put a dice on this and say, that's my Energy Reserve. Alright, we'll open the next pack. Hopefully we'll see some of the new legendary inventions. Cross your fingers. Aether Chaser's new energy card as well. 2/1 first strike for 1 red and 1 other. Has, when it enters the battlefield, you get 2 energy. And when it attacks, you may pay 2. If you do, create a 1/1 colourless server artifact creature token. Now, there's one for every colour now that has that. Allows you to create a servo when you attack. Renegade's Getaway, that's a good one. 1 black and 2 other, target permanent gains indestructible until end of turn, then create a 1/1 colourless servo. Ah, this is one of my favourite cards from the pre-release. A Consulate Turret, cost of 3. You can tap it to gain energy, then you can tap it to pay 3 energy, and it deals 2 damage to target player. Now, considering that Planeswalkers are counted as players, you can shoot them with it and take them down. So if someone's ticks their Planeswalker up by 1, you can then take 2 off of it for just 3 energy. And since there's lots of ways to get energy in this set, it's really, really useful. Universal Solvent, that's another one. Cost of just 1 mana, and then you have to tap it for 7, so a bit more expensive, but it can destroy target permanent. That's any permanent, even a land. So it can be very useful. Caught in the Brights is another interesting one. Enchanted creature can't attack or block, so it's like a pacifism. But then it has, when a vehicle you control attacks, exile enchanted creature. So you're literally just running it over. And since there's a lot of vehicles in a set, in a vehicle deck, this would basically be a 1 white mana and 2 other exile spell. And here's another new vehicle right now, Mobile Garrison. Cost of 3, has, when Mobile Garrison attacks, untap another target artifact or creature you control, with a crew cost of 2. It's a 3/4, but the main thing here is that with this card, you can tap someone to crew it, and then when it attacks, you can untap the person you used to crew it. So that's a huge deal. Pacification Array. 2, and tap to tap target artifact or creature. And it costs 1, so it's a good cost, not too expensive to use its effect, and you can tap down artifacts and creatures. So I think it will see some use, but it's not amazingly game-changing. Narnum Renegade, on the other hand, is amazing. Cost of 1 green mana, has a 1/2 Death Touch, and has Revolt when it enters the battlefield with a +1/+1 count on it if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. So if something else dies, you're getting a 2/3 for 1 green mana that has Death Touch. So that's pretty good. Gremlin Infestation. Cost of 1 red and 3 other. It's an enchantment aura, and enchants an artifact. At the beginning of your end step, Gremlin Infestation deals 2 damage to enchanted artifact's controller. When enchanted artifact is put into a graveyard, create a 2/2 red Gremlin creature token. So you just put it on one of your opponent's artifacts, and it will keep dealing damage to him every turn. And if they find a way to destroy it, then you get a Gremlin token. And finally, Greenbelt Rampager. Now this is a really interesting one. Cost of 1 green mana for a 3/4. That's a bit cheap, you think? Yes, it is, but it has this rule. When Greenbelt Rampager enters the battlefield, pay 2 energy. If you can't, return Greenbelt Rampager to its owner's hand, and you get 1 energy. So you could literally play this on turn 1, have it return to your hand and you get energy. Play it on turn 2, you return it to your hand and get energy, and then on turn 3, you can play it and then pay the energy cost and get to keep it. So it's an interesting card. The Ragavan token. There's a card in this set, a certain pirate captain, who generates a 2/1 monkey token every time they attacks, and this is the token for it. Hopefully we'll get to see her in a minute if we manage to draw her. Next we have keep those fingers crossed for legendary artifacts. The Fenhall, that's a good one. 1 black and 6 other for a 5/5 insect, and can't be blocked by artifact creatures. It also has Improvise, so you could effectively get it for just 1 black mana if you tapped enough artifacts. And since it can't be blocked by artifact creatures, it's a good way to avoid vehicles someone might have left available to be crewed to try and block you. That's a good one. Defiant Salvager. 1 black and 2 other. Has sacrifice an artifact or creature, put a +1/+1 counter on Defiant Salvager. Activate this ability only anytime you can cast a sorcery. Why is that good? Well, with Revolt triggers, you can sacrifice a servo, give him a +1/+1 counter, and trigger a Revolt. Untethered Express. This is a good vehicle. Has 4 cost 4 mana. It's a 4/4. Trample. Whenever an Untethered Express attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on it. So whenever you attack with this, it's getting larger and larger and keeps doing so every turn. Siege Modification. This is a fantastic enchantment aura. 2 red and 1 other, so it's a bit of a difficult cost, but has Enchant creature or vehicle. As long as enchanted permanent is a vehicle, it's a creature in addition to its other types. Enchanted creature gets +3/+0 and has first strike. Now, if we look at that with the Untethered Express, that would make that a 7/4 with first strike and trample, which it already has, and it doesn't need to be crewed since it becomes a creature. So that is a magnificent spell for vehicle decks. Next we have Gonti's Machinations. Enchantment. Whenever you lose life the first time each turn, you get an energy. Pay 2 energy, sacrifice Gonti's Machination that each opponent loses 3 life, and you gain life equal to the life lost this way. So this is good for Commander. Only has a cost of 1 black mana. And it's good for building up your energy, or if you want to in a Commander game with multiple opponents, it's good for getting a lot of life back quickly. And then we have Lightning Rare. That's a mythic rare. Has 2 red and 3 other. Has a 2/2 with double strike and haste. Whenever Lightning Runner attacks, you can get 2 energies. Then you may pay, let's see, I think it's about 8 energy there. Yeah, it's 8 energy there. If you pay, untap all creatures you control, and after this phase, there's an additional combat phase. So with this one, you're dealing 4 damage, just like something with a double strike. You get 2 energy, and if you pay 8 of it, you get another combat phase. So that's 8 damage this creature can do all on its own, not counting any of your other creatures at all. Ah, shiny Aether Poisoner. Aether Poisoner is a good one. 1 black mana and 1 other for a 1/1 with Death Touch, which gives you 2 energy and can create solos. Let's open the next pack. Hopefully there'll be more mythics. Certainly a lot of good things for improving energy decks. Take it to custody, that's a good one. For 1 blue mana, tap target creature, it doesn't untap during its control's next untap step. Hit someone in their main phase with that, and they won't be using that creature in combat. Monstrous Onslaught. Monstrous Onslaught deals X damage, divided as you choose, among any number of target creatures, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control, as you cast Monstrous Onslaught. And it costs 2 green and 3 other. Now let's think about this for a sec. There's things like the Aether Express, which you can crew, so it's a creature, and then you could cast a spell. So suddenly you're dealing a massive amount of damage, divided as you choose, just from having the train, where before you might have only had a couple of 3/3s. So using this with vehicles would be a great way to get a lot of damage out. Restoration Specialist. 1 white and 1 other, Dwarf Ice-Ficer, 2/1, has 1 white mana, sacrifice Restoration Specialist, return up to 1 target artifact card, and up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. So a good way to get your auras and your artifact creatures or vehicles back. Ah, the Ornithopter. Classic card here, brought back for Kaladesh. Cost of 0, artifact creature Thopter. It's a 0/2 with flying. So it's just a nice cheap little creature that you can put out and buff, and you take the advantage of its flying. Ah, Midnight Entourage. It's a brilliant Aetherborn card. With 2 black and 2 other, it has other Aetherborn you control get +1/+1. It's a 3/3 on its own, and whenever Midnight Entourage or another Aetherborn you control dies, you draw a card and you lose 1 life. So it's great if we want to do it in an Aetherborn tribal deck. We'll quickly open these Kaladesh ones up, and then see what we get in the other decks. Go straight to the uncommons and rares. So we've already seen them. Diabolic Tutor, Overchase Dragster, Minister of Inquiries. Ah, PNLR. Legendary creature human artificer. When PNLR enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 colored stop to artifact creature token with flying. First, pay 1 red and 1 other. Target artifact creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Or pay 1, sacrifice an artifact. Target creature can't block this turn. So that can certainly help an artifact deck. And let's see what else we get. So Conduit, Contraband Kingpin, Harness Lightning, always a good one. Ah, the Electrostatic Pummeler. cost 3, and it has when an electrostatic pummeler enters the battlefield, you get 3 energy. Pay 3 energy, electrostatic pummeler gets +6/+6 until end of turn, where X is its power. So, if you've given it a buff spell like Built to Smash, which gives it +3/+3, you would give it +4, another additional +4/+4, and it'd become an 8/8. So, really good card there. Right, let's open up these other packs and see what we get before cracking on with Tezzeret Master of Metal deck. That's another good vehicle, Iron Tread Crusher. Cost of 4, has crew 3, and it's a 6/6. So nice little vehicle there. Restoration Specialist again. Rogue Refiner, 1 green, 1 blue, and 1 other. When Rogue Refiner enters the battlefield, draw a card, you get 2 energy, and it's a 3/2. It's a nice bit of card draw there. Trophy Mage, and this is a really nice one. It has 1 blue and 2 other. When Trophy Mage enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost 3, reveal it, and put it into your hand, and shuffle your library. So it's good for finding cheap vehicles. It's also good for finding any kinds of artifacts that you may need for card draw or just damaging. Glint Sleeve Siphoner, 1 black and 1 other. Has Menace. When Glint Sleeve Siphoner attacks, when it enters the battlefield, or attacks, you get 1 energy. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card and you lose 1 life. So it's good for getting a lot of energy, and good for getting you some card draw, although it is at the cost of your life. Let's see what we've got here. Filigree Crawler there, nice artifact creature insect, 2/2, has 4 mana, and has when it dies, create a 1/1 card stop to artifact creature token with flying. Airdrop Aeronauts, 2 white and 3 other, has flying, it's 4/3, and has Revolt. When Airdrop Aeronauts enters the battlefield, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn, you gain 5 life. So if you just sacrifice a servo, as I said earlier, with that creature that can pump itself every time you sacrifice something to it, you could gain 5 life as they came into play. Daredevil Dragster, this is an interesting one. Cost of 3, it's a 4/4, needs a crew of 2. And it has, at the end of combat, if Daredevil Dragster attacked or blocked to this combat, put a velocity counter on it. Then if it has 2 or more velocity counters on it, sacrifice it and draw 2 cards. So it could be a handy attacker or blocker, and then get your card draw. Salvage Scuttler, 1 blue and 4 other, has, when Salvage Scuttler attacks, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand, and it's 4/4, so it's not that good. It's good for returning things to your hand, which might trigger Revolt, but at the same time, it can be difficult if you don't want to return anything to your hand. Scrap Trawler, cost of 3, it's a 3/2, and has whenever a Scrap Trawler or another artifact you control is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, return to your hand a target artifact card in your graveyard with less converted mana cost. So, anything that gets put, any artifact you control that dies, even your, say, 10 mana Metalwork Colossus, you can return to the battlefield any artifact, return to your hand any artifact card with a lesser converted mana cost. So if anything large dies, you can bring something almost as large straight back to your hand and cast it in. So it's a really good card for artifact decks there. And now let's have a look at this Tezzeret Planeswalker. Everyone's saying this is the better of the 2 Tezzerets. Even though it's slightly pricier. And we have Tezzeret Master of Metal. Cost of 1 blue and 1 black and 4 other. Has 5 loyalty counters to start with, and has +1 reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an artifact card. Put that card into your hand, and the rest of the bottom of your library in any random order. So good for getting the artifacts you need. -3, target opponent loses life equal to the number of artifacts you control. So a good way to, in an artifact deck, to just quickly kill your opponent. And -8, gain control of all artifacts and creatures target opponent controls. So you just take their entire board. And in a deck with a lot of vehicles and artifact creatures that you might face in Aether Revolt or Kaladesh pre-releases, that can just take someone out completely. So a really good Planeswalker there. And now Magic's giving us these nice boxes with the decks that can hold the deck you get and the 2 boosters. Another rare, Merchant's Dockhand. It's a 1 mana for 1/2. Has 1 blue and 3 other. Tap X untapped artifacts you control. Look at the top X cards of your library. Put 1 of them into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. So another way to quickly look for the cards you need. Quicksmith Spy, that's another rare. 1 blue and 3 other. Creature Human Artificer, 2/3. When Quicksmith Spy enters the battlefield, target artifact you control gains tap, draw a card for as long as you control Quicksmith Spy. So you give one of your artifacts the ability to just let you draw cards over and over again. So it's brilliant there. Tezzeret's Betrayal, another rare. 1 black, 1 blue and 3 other. It's a sorcery. Destroy target creature. You may search your library for or graveyard for a card named Tezzeret, Master of Metal, reveal it and put it into your hand. If you search your library this way, shuffle it so you can just dig out your Planeswalker and get him straight into play. And you get 2 of them. There's the classic Ornithopter. Augmenting Automaton, cost of 1 for a 1/1, but has 1 black and 1 other. Augmenting Automaton gets +1/+1 till end of turn. So a good nice little pump up there. Dund Operative, that's from the last set. Tezzeret's Simulacrum. Cost of 3 for a 2/3. Has tap. Target opponent loses 1 life. If you control a Tezzeret Planeswalker, that player loses 3 life instead. So a good way to use your Planeswalker to make your opponent lose a lot of life very quickly. Especially with his ability to drain their life as well. Takara P-Fowl. Treasure Keeper. Cost of 4. It's a 3/3. When Treasure Keeper dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card. With converted mana cost 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. So you can just get out cheap artifacts really quickly with that one. Foundry Assembler. Artifact creature is 5 mana for a 3/3 and has Improvise, so you could effectively get it for free if you tap enough artifacts. Bastion Inventor. 1 blue and 5 other. Has Improvise, so once again you can get it for just 1 blue. It's a 4/4 with hexproof. Winkin Raiders, we've seen those. Ironclad Revolutionary. Cost 2 black and 4 other. When Ironclad Revolutionary enters the battlefield, you may sacrifice an artifact. If you do, put 2 +1/+1 counters on Ironclad Revolutionary, and each opponent loses 2 life. So it's a 4/4 that could become a 6/6, and already take 2 life off your opponent. Barricade Breaker, 7 mana for a 7/5. Has Improvise, so once again you could effectively get it for free. And Barricade Breaker attacks each combat if able. Penhauler, Universal Sword. Pendulum of Patterns. When Pendulum of Patterns enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. 5 mana, tap, sacrifice Pendulum of Patterns to draw a card. And it's cost of 2 mana, so a good way to get a lot of life and card draw there. Implement of Examination, costs 3 mana. Has blue, sacrifice Implement of Examination, draw a card. When Implement of Examination is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. So you get 1 for sacrificing it, and you get 1 for just putting it into the graveyard. Essence Extraction from the last set. Tezzeret's Touch. Has 1 black, 1 blue, and 1 other. Enchanted Artifact. Enchanted Artifact is a creature with base power and toughness 5/5, in addition to its other types. When Enchanted Artifact is put into a graveyard, return that card to its owner's hand. So you can turn something into a 5/5 creature, and then when it dies, you get the artifact card back. Reverse Engineer. It's 2 blue mana and 3 other, but has Improvise, so once again could get it for just 2 blue. And allows you to draw 3 cards. That's a good rate way for getting some card draws. Submerged Boneyard. Enters the battlefield taps and adds blue or black to the mana pool. And then it's just the land cards. But a pretty good, strong artifact deck there. Let's have a look at these ones quickly. Still holding out for some wondrous inventions. Illusionist Stratagem. Exalt 2 target creatures you control and then return those cards to the battlefield under their owner's control and draw a card. So a great way to trigger Revolt. The Ridgescale Tusker, he's a good one. It's 2 green and 3 other. It has when Ridgescale Tusker enters the battlefield, put a +1/+1 counter on each other creature you control. So it's a 5/5 and you're buffing everything else as well. Renegade Wheelsmith. 1 white, 1 red and 1 other. It's a 3/2 which has when Renegade Wheelsmith becomes tapped, target creature can't block this turn. So just by tapping and crewing a vehicle, you could take away a blocker. And another Glint Sleeve Siphoner. Let's see what we get in this one. Chandra's Revolution is a good red spell. 1 red and 3 other. Chandra's Revolution deals 4 damage to target creature. Tap target land. That land doesn't attack during its controls next to the tap step. So you're killing something and you're taking away some of their mana. Hidden Herbalists. It's a 2/2 for 1 green and 1 other, and has Revolt when Hidden Herbalist enters the battlefield. If a opponent you control left the battlefield this turn, add 2 green mana to your mana pool. So you're effectively getting them for free. Reverse Engineering, another Treasure Keeper. And Baral, Chief of Compliance. Legendary creature, Human Wizard. Instant and sorcery spells you cast cost 1 less to cast. He only costs 1 blue and 1 other himself. And has whenever a spell or ability you control counters a spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. So it gives you a bit of card draw for countering enemy spells and makes your own spells cheaper. So 1/3. And there's on the back of that token there's the Planar Portal that's the centre of the plot. Alright, that's all for this time, Magic fans. Hopefully we'll be showing you these cards in a game soon. So remember to like and subscribe.